And welcome back to WM32 Football Podcast. With it being a Thursday, as we all know, Europa League football and whatnot. So with the group stages starting this week, we're going to talk about all the British teams that are in there. So we've got the Arsenal, Manchester United, Wolves, Celtic, and Steven Gerrard's Rangers. So we'll start with Arsenal then, Connor.
Yeah.
How do you see you boys getting on this time around?
I'm confident, decent group, not extremely hard. Hardest test will be obviously Frankfurt, which is first game tonight away from home. I'm expecting minimum semis. Personally, I think it'll be finals for us. Final for us it should be. But I'm looking forward to seeing what we do because I'm hoping we do what we did last year, which is get a lot of younger players around out. So squad came out yesterday for the Arsenal game. You've got Gabriel Martinelli, Manuel Smith-Rowe, Bukayo Saka, Rob Holding's back in the squad. You've got like a lot of younger players like Joe Willock's gone, Reece Nelson. So you're hoping they're going to get minutes, get a run out, and get some game time under their belt. So then they're ready for when the bigger challenges come. Obviously, got to love a 5 to 6 kickoff.
Yeah.
Cheers UEFA, I'm going to miss that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Should be aiming high in this competition. We did last year, and we just for some reason fell apart in the final. You know what that's like.
Well, not in Europa League anyway. But is there potentially then a worry from an Arsenal fan's perspective that you might have a hangover from the final last season?
You'd think so, because the squad hasn't changed too much. But you're looking at players like Danny Ceballos, who's obviously in the squad for today's game, who will bring that sort of something different to the squad that they didn't have last year. Obviously, we've seen that he's class already, and against like Frankfurt tonight, he should be starting, should play well. There could be a hangover. I don't think there will be, because I think it'll be. If you look at that squad that started or went to the final, it's a lot different to the one that will be in the group stage like we had last year. Like you had Guendouzi scored his first goal, you had Smith-Rowe scored his first goal, Willock scored his first goal, Reece Nelson was on loan last year, but Reece Nelson in the squad. Eddie Nketiah, who's on loan this year, scored his first goal. You're going to look in the group stage to play a lot of youth players, and then when you get into the latter stages, then you won't really have that hangover from last year, I don't think, because it will be out of a lot of the players' systems. Where if we went in with the exact same squad that we went into the final, there is that chance, because you've seen it at the start of this season where we've been sluggish, we've given away a lot of chances, like 31 chances to Watford, which is the most since Octa started recording.
Well, I think there's the stat that came out after that Watford game, and it was Arsenal have faced something nearly 100 shots in their first 5 games.
92 shots.
And you know when Derby went down, from the Premier League, they had actually faced less shots.
Yeah, 89 shots when Derby went down the first 5 games. Arsenal was, I think, 92
to
95-ish in the first 5 games. But when you look at it, you play Tottenham, who are going to create high volume of chances, Liverpool, who create high volume of chances, but then you look at giving away 18 shots to Burnley, 31 shots to Watford. We gave away decent chances at Newcastle as well. Don't get me wrong, and I've said this, like, yes, it's tactical that we should be setting up better, but when you've got players who aren't going to be your first choice in there, you're not going to have Maitland-Niles playing at right back. He's a centre mid. So when Bellerin comes back, he'll be in there. I don't think, and for some reason Mustafi's gone to Frankfurt tonight. Hopefully we leave him there. Absolute trash. But Rob Holding's going to be a starting centre-back. Callum Chambers could be a starting centre-back. You're going to have Tierney as probably your starting left-back. That's a completely different back four to what we started the season. Because even Callum Chambers in the first game of the season against Newcastle was Arsenal's best defender, and for some reason hasn't played since. So yeah, we've conceded a lot of chances, but it's also due to a lot of mistakes from people being too lazy on the ball, not wanting to take a chance, or just like we saw with the first Watford goal, playing out from the back when Guendouzi's too square on. Socrates has that chance. Like you saw Leno roll it to Luis, and Luis has just gone, I'm not messing about with him. Pelting it 60 yards. See you later. Socrates could have done that. He's come out and held his hands up and gone, look, it was my fault. I shouldn't have played that pass. Fair play to him for that. David Luiz is still trying to say that it wasn't a penalty. He kicked him. Did the same 2 weeks ago and the week before that, and probably the week before that. It's like all I've been sent by a lot of Chelsea fans was David Luiz's quotes from me. I want to stop Arsenal getting Champions League football. That's all I've been sent for the last
so far.
weeks.
So far,
so
Agent
good.
David Luiz,
Agent David
you could
Luiz
say.
doing bits.
Moving on from you boys, the red half of Manchester.
Yeah.
How are we looking at their chances this season?
I've looked into a lot of their stuff this season. You look at Daniel James as being one of their high performers.
Yeah.
He's scoring a lot of goals compared to what he should be. His expected goals is about 0.4 to 0.5, which is decent for a young player, but the quality of chances he's getting aren't high quality chances. They're sort of like pretty much out your feet and hit it. But they haven't got many creators in that side other than Pogba as well. Mata hasn't got the legs to do it. Lingard hasn't got a goal or assist in the Premier League in 2019. A lot of people have been like, oh, it's in all competitions, but he scored against Arsenal and did a moonwalk in the FA Cup, which we're going to try and forget, because he called the Emirates the dance floor, which I'm still not happy about. You've got Pogba's most chances created so far this season, as he was last season, but yet still gets abuse about it. You've got Rashford, who's second on that list. Then it drops massively to Maguire, then Mata, then Wan-Bissaka is creating their chances.
Yeah.
So players that aren't really known for being chance creators Maguire kind of, but Wan-Bissaka not really. Rashford, you'd rather him be finishing chances than creating them. But you look at it, they've still got Martial out. I don't know how long he's out for. Without him, you're missing someone who is literally a poacher in the box. Because Rashford does it, but Rashford also has a absolutely horrible shot location. It was like some of his shots last season, I think it was like 32% of his shots in games were from outside the box, which for a number 9, you're wanting your shots mainly in the box. So you're looking at if United have a full lineup with Pogba, Mata in there, Lingard in there, Rashford and Martial, they're going to do well. I'm also expecting semi-finals from them.
Yeah, but I think
depends
Ollie,
how they start. And
I think Ollie's come out and said to for this game anyway that, and maybe even a bit similar to Arsenal in the group stage where
he's going to play a lot.
Play a lot of the younger players.
Stuff like that.
He's saying, bigging up Mason Greenwood.
Yeah.
Saying he's one of the best finishers that he's ever seen or worked with, and obviously Ollie's played with some very, very good finishers as well.
Yeah.
There's I think that Chong, Angel Gomez, McTominay, and a few other sort of younger players at Man United probably going to get a run out. So you see similarities between them and Arsenal.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of similarities because the good thing about the Europa League for Arsenal and United, you've got quite big squads apart from United going forward because they only have about 3 forward players. So you can rotate a lot, and a lot of younger players will get minutes, and that's where you're going to sort of like see how good they are and how ready they are for Prem action as well. So they will do what Arsenal did last year and will probably do this year and play a lot of youngsters and get those players game time. So you're looking at Chong to start probably tonight. You've got, I think McTominay probably won't start because he'll probably start on Sunday most likely, so I don't think they're going to want to risk an injury for him. Because let's face it, other than Pogba, he's their only other half-decent midfielder. Because Matic is dead in the water. Mata, I love Mata, he's such a nice guy, but hasn't got the legs to do what he used to do. Lingard is a dancer that sometimes plays football. I don't know, I've upset a few people by saying that as well. I upset a few people the other week by saying Jack Butland's still a decent keeper, but... United are a tricky one. Depends how they start, depends how their group goes. I actually don't know what their group looks like.
I think they've got two.
They've got
potential I think they've got 2 away games that are on a 3G.
Yeah. And with a 3G as well, if you had an ACL and if you had a ligament injury at all, you can't play on them. So luckily, I don't think many United players other than Luke Shaw have had big injuries like that will miss that game. But you're looking for Pogba to do what he always does and be their best player and still get slated for it. Rashford which he can do, like he put up a post yesterday where he was like, I love this competition, it's how I broke through, I want to win it again, sort of thing. So I think United will do well. They've got, obviously I don't know what their group looks like, I only really looked at Arsenal and a little bit of Celtic and Wolves group. I didn't look at United because I just didn't have time this morning. But yeah, I think it could be a good side. One of the favourites alongside Arsenal, personally.
And then, I mean, you just mentioned them there. Wolves, first time in Europe since 1980. Struggled a little bit in the league so far this season. But could Europe be the distraction that they need?
You say that, but they've got a very thin squad. They haven't bulked their squad. Yes, they got Patrick Crotone in, who's another forward option.
They've got Vallejo, the centre half as well for Real Madrid.
But you look at it, they've had a lot of silly mistakes that you didn't see from Wolves last year. It's like I said to you in the off-season, that if Wolves want to keep the level or go higher than the level they were at last year, they've got to go out and be more expansive and play a better style of football to try and win more games. And so far that's made them weaker at the back, which was possibly their best thing last year. Connor Cody was outstanding all of last year. So it could be a welcome distraction, but then if you look at it, you go away to some games and you pick up an injury, and then you're playing 16, 17-year-old in Prem games because you've got an injury in Europa League. And you look, Ruben Neves and João Moutinho are very sort of crucial to how they play at times. Like you saw how Ruben Neves was so crucial in the 1-1 with United. So if they pick up an injury, or a couple of injuries, could be very sour for them. But let's face it, they're going to go all guns blazing it because it's their first time in Europe. When are they going to get another chance to do it in Europe? Like you saw Burnley go out in knockout rounds last year, and you looked at it and you went, they could have really gone for it, because when are people from Burnley ever going to get to go to a different place other than somewhere in England to watch their team? So I hope they do well. I think they'll get out of the group.
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to come on to their group. I think they've got a good group.
They have got a good group.
You sort of fancy Wolves to at least get out of it.
Yeah. You expect Wolves to get out of their group, and you look when maybe a team drops down from like Champions League level, because you look at it as like at the Champions League groups. In one group, you're going to have either Dortmund or Inter Milan dropping out into Europa League. If they come out against one of them, don't get me wrong, it's a great away day, especially to go and see the yellow wall at Dortmund. Absolutely amazing. So they could go deep-ish into the competition. Just depends on how they do in the group and who they pick up in the next round. But I'm expecting decent things.
Moving on then to Celtic. For me personally, I think it's crucial that they've got European football.
Yeah.
And ironically, they're going to face
Cluj
again, who actually knocked them out of the Champions League in the early rounds. But again, a very, very tricky group. Can Celtic try and get out of it, or
it's good? You'd expect Celtic to get out of it, but it will be tough, especially going away to Cluj, because you're going to have one player, probably Scott Brown, being like, "This is revenge for knocking us out of the Champions League."
And obviously Celtic's away form in Europe is notoriously bad as well.
Yeah, they're gonna want to make Celtic Park an absolute fortress, which they've done in the past. But whether they can do it now, because
I mean, they have lost some big players in the summer. Obviously, Tierney's gone, Boyata's gone, Lustig's gone. So there's a lot of experience there that has left Celtic Park. So is that going to potentially hold them back, or have they got enough to at least battle their way?
I think they've got enough to battle their way in the group and probably through the group. I don't think they'll make it into the latter stages, maybe round of 32, round of 16 sort of like area. For them would be what I would say, just what I'd expect from them at least. because they bang on about being such a great club and winning the Champions League back when it was like God knows how many years ago.
It was the European Cup back then,
it was
and
the
you know,
European
first
Cup.
sort of British team to do it.
So you'd like to see them go on and do well in it. But yeah, I'm thinking round of 32, round of 16 sort of stage will be where they probably exit, and they'll go out to maybe a United and Arsenal or a bigger side.
And then moving on to the other side of Glasgow and Steven Gerrard's Rangers.
Stevie G's Rangers. Yeah.
I mean, looking at their group, that could be a Champions League group.
Yeah,
realistically,
could be a Champions League group.
You know, they've got young boys of Burn in there who played United not so long ago and were in there when Spurs first got in there.
Pitch as well. So
yeah, so that's going to be. But then they've got
always difficult to adapt.
They've got Porto in there,
yeah.
former Champions League winners, and they've got Feyenoord who.
I don't expect Rangers to actually get out of this group. I'm expecting Porto and probably young boys to be the top two. I'm not confident about Rangers getting through this, not because they've got a good side, got a good decent manager in Stevie G, but I can't see them putting it on away from home in Europe, because it's different playing away from home in Scotland to playing against Porto in Porto when the fans are absolutely on it. We've seen teams go there. I remember Arsenal going back there a few years back. We had Bentner up front, so that's how long ago it was. Yeah, the Lord. And their fans they proper go for it, and they players were coming out and going, yeah, it's one of the most hostile atmospheres I played in. And then we took them back to ours and absolutely battled them 5-1. Bentner hat-trick, loved that. So going away to those grounds are going to be hard because it's a different level as well, especially with Porto there, always competing on a big front in Portugal, and also they're normally in Europe at some stage. They were Champions League last year, so they've got the experience, so they could do it. Obviously young boys, 3G pitch as well. It's always difficult to play on a 3G pitch when you're used to playing on grass. Ball bounce differently. Obviously, we said if you've got players that have had ligament issues, they can't play on those pitches. So you could be, I don't know the basis of Rangers squad. So you could have players that can't play due to injury reasons. And every time that big team has gone there, they've made it hard for them.
Is that the pitch, or is that down to other factors?
That might be a bit of both, because you look when young boys have played away at the bigger sides, they haven't had that sort of energy that they have at home. It might be a mixture of the pitch, the fans, and the fact that they're playing at home against a big side. Do you see that with a lot of smaller clubs in Europe? You look Red Star at home last year against Liverpool. Everyone was like, "Oh, Liverpool going to walk this." Come out and it was pretty tough for them, and obviously they lost the game. So it could be that where it's a mixture of things, and also if they haven't got players available due to older injuries, that's why as well. But yeah, it's going to be a struggle. I don't think they'll get through the group, personally.
And then, obviously, with the Europa League, you get the Champions League dropouts as well. Is it going to be a case of maybe one of those reaching the final? Who you back in for the Europa League this year?
Personally, and I'm going to be a bit biased, I think Arsenal will be a finalist. We've got a decent group. We've got the players that should do it. We did it last year when we had possibly a tougher sort of group last year than what we had this year. We faced Valencia last year and we're pretty comfortable in both legs. Played Napoli last year, we're pretty comfortable in both legs. So I think we can do it. I think United will be up there in and around the semis, the final range. But if you're looking at maybe Dortmund or Inter dropping out from that group of death, one of those could go very far in that. Especially dropping in around a 32, you pick up someone who's a minnow from the group, because around a 32 play team that finished second, didn't they?
Believe so, yeah.
So if you're picking up maybe
well, I think it might work on a seeding thing as well.
But if you're picking up a slightly smaller side, smaller in quotation marks, with every side that's playing in Europe has a right to be there.
Mm-hmm.
If you're playing one of those sides and you get through and then you get a lucky draw again, you can go far. We've seen it with Valencia last year or Frankfurt last year going all the way to the semis and stuff like that. You see those clubs pick up form and they pick up momentum. So you're looking at, I think, 2 of the English teams will be in the semis again. Not sure who's going to win it. I want to say Arsenal, but you never know. You could come up against Dortmund and get absolutely ruined because Jadon Sancho just ruins Europe for fun.
Is there then, in terms of a dark horse, is there anybody standing out for you, or is it a case of, you know, bigger sides and the dropouts that are going to be sort of there or thereabouts?
So you had Frankfurt as sort of a dark horse last year. I'd expect them to do decently. I think they're going to finish second in the group. I would say Porto, but they're sort of a bigger side in it. There isn't really, I haven't really looked into it that deeply to find a dark horse in it, but I would say Frankfurt will go quite far. I think quarters around there. I'd say they're out of the bigger teams, the dark horse out of them to go through and actually do quite a decent job. What do you think?
I think in terms of a winner, again, difficult to really sort of put a team down because you've got the dropouts from the Champions League.
Yeah.
And then it's draw depending, like you say, it could be one of Dortmund or Inter from that particular group in the Champions League. You've got either one of Valencia or Ajax from that group as well.
Even you lot could join us.
Well, let's hope not. Yeah, you know, you could get, you know, a difficult or a tricky-ish kind of draw in that in the latter stages of the Europa League. But I think a dark horse and a team that I think could do very, very well is Feyenoord.
Yeah.
Jaap Stam is manager there. We've seen the brand of football anyway that he likes to play, especially when he was at Reading, and got them playing some unbelievably fantastic stuff. And you know, since he's gone there, he brought Liam Kelly in from Reading, who you know was fantastic under Jaap Stam at Reading. Got some other very, very good young players. Goalkeeper Justin Bijlow, very, very good goalkeeper. Terrell Malacia at left back could be a player to watch, especially because he has the ability to go and play for one of the top sides in Europe. Still only a teenager as well, so he's got time on his side and will probably be left back for Holland.
Yeah.
In
the long run.
In the long run, for sure. Is there any players then for you that are one to watch?
I'm looking forward to seeing how some of the United youngsters do, because United obviously bang on about how good their youth sides are since the Class 92, the only decent youth sides that they've had. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they do. Looking forward to out of bigger teams. I'm more looking to see, because they'll have players that are younger coming through. Looking to see how I want to see how Bukayo Saka plays at Arsenal. Was decent when he came on in bits and spells last year. But I'm gonna say, probably Chong from United will be my standout as like a young player coming through in this season of the Europa League. Like you saw it beginning of last season was a bit more Emil Smith Rowe doing absolute bits in the group stage before he went to Leipzig and got injured. So yeah, Chong will be my guy.
I think as well a player that, and a team really we forgot to mention, is Lazio and Milinkovic-Savic.
Oh yeah.
From there, I think this could be his time really to sort of showcase on a European stage, especially what he's about.
The fall through of the Juve move.
Yeah.
Because obviously supposed to go to United 2 years ago for like 100 odd million, then was supposed to go to Juve this year, 50 million apparently the medicals all sorted, you just have the paperwork and whatever happens in Italy, because apparently a lot of deals fall through because of not third party ownerships but like personal rights and stuff like that, to being able to do photos and have them as like a standout person for it. So I think he could have a very good season. I forgot Lazio in the Europa League.
They're in Celtic's group as well, so You know, Celtic got Lazio, Cluj, and Rennes.
I remember
in
Rennes
their group.
and Cluj in there, but I didn't realise Lazio were in there. They could be a decent side to go far as well. Obviously, Milinkovic-Savic, if he performs the levels we know he can, could be different class. Could have a different side to Lazio this year if in the Europa League if he decides to turn up and play. Because you're going to look at it, he's now going to want to, after a failed Juve move, to push through and move to a bigger club. So that could be it. Yeah, that's a great shout, that.
And I mean, as well, you mentioned him earlier, the boy wonder at Wolves, Ruben Neves.
Yeah.
I mean, captain at Porto at 18, so played in the Champions League in that environment, and obviously we know what he's done when he's gone to Wolves. Is this now again an opportunity for him to showcase on a European stage that he is as good as people? You know, obviously in England we're ranting and raving about Ruben Neves, and you know Wolves fans are as well, and rightly so. He's been fantastic since he's moved there, but is it now his opportunity again on another European stage to really sort of show what he is about?
Yeah, but I think he's done it time and time again where we don't have that question mark over him as much. Obviously on the European stage it's different. If Wolves are going to go past groups and into the latter stages, as I've said, Ruben will be the player that will get them there. He'll be an absolute worldie of a strike or countless free kicks.
Yeah, I mean Neves doesn't score tap-ins.
No, he hasn't scored for Wolves a goal in the penalty area. Like, it's outrageous. They're only ever worldies.
Yeah, like I say, he just doesn't score. Doesn't score
goals.
tap-ins. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how Wolves especially do on a European stage. I think Wolves for me are quite suited to playing in Europe. I think the way that obviously they set up back three, everybody sort of knows their jobs and whatnot, and I think the way that Nuno has had Wolves play in, obviously, year in the Championship and last season in the Premier League, they played some very, very good football.
Let's face it, the players they've got in as well are of a calibre where they should be performing well in Europe. You've got Rui Patricio, you've got Neves, you've got Cotrone, you've got Moutinho, Jota. They've got players that on a level should be playing that better football, and to get some of those in while they're in the Championship, like Neves, is down. Well, we spoke about how good Jorge Mendes is before.
Yeah,
absolute wizard, isn't he? So they could do quite well.
Yeah, and like we said, we're anticipating Wolves are going to get out of their group. Obviously, they've got trips to Braga and Besiktas, and obviously Braga have had some experience in Europe and whatnot, say over the last sort of decade anyway. And Besiktas always a difficult place to go as well. So yeah, I think Wolves could be one that surprises a few people. I just think their league form may hinder them, and like you said earlier as well about the squad size and the fact that if they do get a couple of injuries to certain players,
injuries to a couple of bigger players, then you're looking at it like, will we sacrifice European football to try and keep our Prem football going? Which I think they will do, because you look at it, some sides when they've stepped up into Europe, they've struggled on a league form where they've been close to the bottom. I don't think Wolves will want to do that, so they'll probably sacrifice Europe if they get a couple of big injuries.
Anything else from you, Europa League wise? Thursday nights are back for you. I know you're buzzing about this.
Yeah, love Thursdays, don't we? Other than Aubameyang to absolutely rinse everyone he plays against until we get to a final.
Let's just hope he doesn't bring out a mask again, because the guy is 30. And if we want to talk about levels, obviously Aubameyang's doing that kind of thing at 30. Harry Kane is getting medals from the Queen and OBEs and things like that.
Yeah, he shouldn't have got one though, should he? Because let's face it, didn't really do much after the group stage.
He won the Golden Boot.
Doesn't matter.
He still won the Golden Boot. Right, guys, thank you very much for listening. Make sure you drop a like, comment, and don't forget to subscribe as well.